Hi friends, this is Jess, and today we're going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. I don't know who originally did this tag, but it's like all over the place. Everyone does it and they do it yearly, so I'm gonna try it out. And I have prepped some answers in my little notebook. So we'll just kind of go through the questions that I wrote down, and some of them kind of vary depending on the person who did the tag. So there's one that I'll do just like both questions, I guess. Anyway, what's the best book you've read so far this year? I had a really hard time like deciding. So I'll give you a couple of my favorites. I've already talked about Black River Orchard. My husband's currently reading it, so it has his bookmark in it. I had to steal it back for the video, but this is one of my favorites of the year, and I've already talked about it, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore, but it is like a slow burn horror, and it's very good. Other ones that I will talk about would be remiss without saying Emily Henry, Funny Story. This was just so good. Like, it's almost as good as Beach Read for me, and Beach Read is like an all-time favorite. I need to reread this and annotate it. But it was just so good. Like, I just love the characters. I love the romance in this. It's kind of like a fake dating. The two of them find out that her fiance is leaving her for this guy's girlfriend, and then they end up having to move in together, and then, you know, romance ensues, and it was just, it is funny, and it is just so cute. So Emily Henry, she knocked it out of the park again. She's one of my all-time favorite romance, like rom-com-y authors, so just love that so much. Also, I did read, which was on my TBR from last month, This Is How It Always Is, and this was a very hard-hitting, family-oriented queer story, just beautiful and heart-wrenching, and I will mention it again when I talk about books that made me cry, because it did make me cry. And then, of course, we got to talk about this chunker, House of Flame and Shadow. Yeah, look at those tabbies. I know a lot of people like did not love the conclusion of this series or continuation of this series, this arc, but I just kind of adored it. Had a really good time reading it. Like right when it came out, I took the day off of work to start it, and I just had such a good time. But if you're not a Sarah J. Maas fan, I understand, but yeah, I just love it. All right, so the next one is Best Sequel in 2024. I had a lot of these, actually, because there's a couple series that I was like continuing this year or finishing this year. One of them was Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. This is a very messy romance, rich people problems vibes. You either love it or you don't, but I love it, and I did love this edition. So good. I think there's still going to be more books coming out in the Daisy Hates part of the series, but I don't know that there's going to be more like Magnolia Parks, because I think this was like the end of their arc. But yeah, really, really enjoyed that. I'm a huge fan of the Saga comic series. This is a sci-fi series that I just adore so much. And they came back after a hiatus, and this is volume 11. And just love this series so much. So this was another favorite. I'm also a big fan of the Wayward Children series. So the next one, The Mislaid in Half Parts Known, Parts Half Known, oh my god, why can't I say it? Was like a dinosaur type one, and I just love this series so much. This isn't like my favorite book of the series. I think Down Among the Sticks and Bones is still my favorite. But I just love every single one of these books that comes out. I'm pretty much like ride or die for it, you know? So that was another favorite. I don't think there's any other series ones that I have listed here. Oh, except this chunker, which we already kind of talked about a little bit. Let's see. New release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. The Honey Witch I purchased, and I have not read this yet. It looks so pretty, and I just can't wait to read this. I don't even think I've really read the synopsis. I was just like, Honey Witch, that sounds up my alley. Like, look at this cover. It's just gorgeous. And I'm probably going to mention this again later in the tag. But anyway, this is one of them that I want to read. I need to read the next series, the next book in the series for Butcher and Blackbird. I forget what the series is called, but Leather and Lark. I've heard mixed things about it, so I'm kind of nervous. But I think I will be still picking that up on Kindle at some point. So still want to read that. And Leigh Bardugo's release she came out with this year, The Familiar. I think I'm going to get it at the library because, again, I've heard some things about it. So, but I'd like to still make an attempt at it. So I'm going to get that from the library, but those were all new releases. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I've seen 2 like witchy covers floating around online that I really am into. So Witches We Became looks really pretty. I did not write down the author, I'm sorry, but I'll try to put a picture in here. The Spell Shop is also another one that I saw that looked really, really good. Biggest disappointment, I have 2. A Tempest of Tea, I really did not end up vibing with. It was just kind of like mid for me. And I was really highly anticipating it. So I'm bummed. I'm really bummed. The Warm Hands of Ghosts, that one, again, I really was highly anticipating it. Loved the cover. And then it just kind of fell flat for me. So unfortunately, those were disappointments. And I've already unhauled them. You probably saw in my unhaul video if you watched that. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Biggest surprise, I said Butcher and Blackbird because I did end up giving that like a 5-star and I wasn't expecting it. It is like a serial killer romance. Pretty dark and pretty like gruesome. Wasn't expecting to love that, but I just had like such a good time with it. So I would say that was kind of a surprise for me. Maybe it's not a big surprise. I mean, I like true crime and stuff. The Mindfuck series I really liked, so I don't know. New favorite authors, I would say probably Chuck Wendig, who wrote Black River Orchard. Also read this book, Every Time You Hear That Song, really liked it. And the author is Jenna Boris, and I really liked it. So I think I'm going to be looking for her stuff. I don't think she's like super popular, but I got this at a local bookshop that puts out some stuff that's like not as well known. And she did like a talk there, but I hadn't finished the book, so I didn't go. And now I'm like, oh, I wish I would have gone. But yeah, because this was just so cute. And I want to check more of her stuff out. Next question. New favorite character, or some people say new bookish crush. So this was like a hard one for me because I'm just like, who are my favorites? I read this book this year, Dragged to the Wedding, And it involves a drag queen, and I love drag queens. If you know anything about me, probably haven't talked about it on here, but as much as I love books, I love me some drag queens so much. So this book was so cute. This guy needs a date to go to a family wedding, and he propositions this drag queen to come and pretend to be a woman and be his date to the wedding. And I just honestly like fell in love with that character so much. It's Daniel or Danielle, and their drag name is La La Traviata. And just the best character, like so fun, so fabulous, down to earth, really just like caring and loving person, and just like reminded me of one of my drag friends that I love so much. And I just was like, I'm in love so much. Crushes, I don't know, I don't really have a lot of like bookish crushes, but I still love me some Hunt so much. It's not new. It's not new, but Hunt, love him. Love him. He has my freaking heart. But yeah, that's not a new bookish crush. It's just a continuation of forever in this series. So yeah, so that's that one. Book that made you cry. A lot of books made me cry. Let's see. One that I really cried a lot at was Persepolis. This is a little graphic novel. It's black and white. Really packs a punch. It's about a young girl. She's going through a difficult time and just dealing with a lot of things going on in her country in a war-torn Iran. And just, it's a lot about her growing up, a lot about her with her family, and dealing with the culture and the trials and tribulations of living in this like war-torn country. And like a lot of the stuff with the family, like, oh my gosh, I want to cry, like just thinking about it. And like the ending just killed me. I'm pretty sure there's a second volume of this that I need to get my hands on. But this just killed me. It was very informative, but just the family stuff was just like so freaking hard hitting. So yeah, check it out. It's very informative, very good. So that definitely made me cry. Same thing with, This Is How It Always Is, made me cry a bunch too. Just again, like family stuff, growing up, this, young person growing up queer and finding their identity, just beautiful. And just the family support in this is just, it's unbelievable. So check this one out too. It made me cry so much. And I'm pretty sure I did cry also at House of Flame and Shadows, but we've talked about that enough. And book that made you happy. I'm gonna do repeats again, sorry. House of Flame and Shadow made me happy. Every time you hear that song, this made me so happy. It's such a fun story. Young girl lives with her mother. Her mother is sick, and she's been like a single mom raising her whole life. This country star that she's looked up to forever dies, and has like this contest to try to find information and win like a prize, a money, like prize of money and maybe some other things, that they kind of have to go on like a quest. So her and this guy go on like a little quest, to find out using clues of information about this country star. And the country star is supposed to kind of be like Dolly Parton, and gosh, I love Dolly so much, and I loved this character as well. But this book, yeah, it just made me happy. It was feel goods, like just such a feel good time. Oh my gosh, love it. So yeah, feel goods. Most beautiful book you've bought this year. again, yeah, I'm sorry I keep talking about this book, but can we just, it's so beautiful. And The Honey Witch. This is the one that I have not read yet, but it's gorgeous. I just love it so much. And I've seen some editions that have like sprayed edges with like bees on them, and I'm just like, if I love this as much as I hope that I do, maybe I'll pick up one of those special editions, because just so beautiful. Love it. So excited to read this. I'm gonna be so sad if this is not good. And what books do you need to read before the end of the year? So many books. So many books. My TBR is insane. My TBR is like, my physical TBR is like, I think it's less than 80 books now because I unhauled a bunch. And I have another unhaul stack over there that you can't see. But I've also brought some more books in. So I've already talked about Honey Witch, so you know I need to read that. Another one that I keep telling my mom that I will read is Tom Lake. She got me this for Christmas. My mom's a big Ann Patchett fan. I've never read any Ann Patchett. I own this and I own The Dutch House, and I really want to read like all the Ann Patchett because I've heard such good things. And I think this is about some actresses, and the cover again is pretty, and it's a Reese's book club pick, and I've heard a lot of her picks are really good, so definitely need to read that. My TBR is huge. Just so many books that I need to read. I'm trying to think what else I want to mention that I have not read. I had a list for the beginning of the year that was like 24 books that I have to read in the year, and I haven't read like any of them. So I need to work down that list that I created. I've got Fairy Tale by Stephen King I wanted to get to. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I keep telling my husband that I'm going to read. Just so many books. So many books, so little time. But anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to my ramblings about books. But yeah, I am freaking out because I haven't read enough this year. Those were some of the highlights. There were definitely a lot of books that I was just kind of like mid or on. I feel like this year's kind of been mid, even though I'm mentioning like a bunch of books that I really loved. There were just a lot of just like mid or bleh books that I just did not like. So let's hope that the rest of the year is fruitful. And thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Jess, and please subscribe to the channel. Give me a like if you like the video, and thank you so much.